Hi everybody, as promised, I'm going to do a little diastasis recti exercise tutorial. So first thing, I don't know if any of you have heard of the vacuum stomach exercise. It's kind of what you see Arnold Schwarzenegger doing this. He's always like sucked in. So we're going to do a version of that. I don't do it that much, but once you get the idea of it, you can do this anytime. You can feel that those internal muscles contract when you think of it. When I'm in the pool, I do it. When I'm blow drying my hair, I do it. When I'm in the shower, I do it. So the technique is, and I'll show you, I'll pull this up. So the technique is where you exhale all your breath out. Where you inhale your breath in, kind of through your ribs, and then you exhale all your air out. You hold it. So you hold it, and I'm taking a breath to talk, but you hold it as long as you can, 20, 30 seconds, as much as you can. And so it's like this. So you try to lift those muscles up to your ribs, and then you slowly let it out. Okay? So you're supposed to do, 3 sets a day, 5 days a week, 3 to 5 sets, I would say. You can do that sitting. You can also do it leaning over, same technique, where you inhale all your breath out in, and then exhale all your breath out, and then try to contract upward, okay? I can still feel it happen even though I'm breathing, right? But it's that feeling of closing, because that's what we need to do. Now, a more advanced version of that is where you would do that. You would inhale, and you would exhale, and see that contract, and then you do little twists, okay? That is not beginner move. That is intermediate advanced. And again, it's got to be small, because sometimes that crisscross can make the diastasis worse. Sometimes planks can make it worse. But if you know how to do that and you're doing a plank, it's going to help. I mean, I've seen my clients just do Pilates, and it's helped because they know how to close. Pilates is all about closing that midline. So if you don't have experience with that, it's a little bit harder to understand what that means. So then I want you to do it supine. You do it laying down. Same thing. And again, every time you do it, it's going to get a little bit more, not natural, but you're going to be able to feel it a little bit better. So I'm going to tilt myself down to you, and we're going to do this laying down. And I feel like for a beginner, this is how you should start, because it's just much easier than having to deal with standing and all that stuff. So we're going to come down, and I want you to always have your knees bent for these, because you want to be able to have support for your lower back, because when you have diastasis, your lower back obviously is suffering a little bit. So I want you just to do that same thing. You're going to inhale through your back ribs, expand, and then exhale everything out. And hold here. Okay? Now maintaining that, you can do little tucks under. Good. Let's just do 10. So you feel that. Then you'll start to feel it down here a little bit more, but I want you to keep in mind you want to close these ribs, and I'm still trying to keep my breath out even though I'm talking to you. Good. 4, 3, 2, and 1, and release. It's so small. It's so small, okay? You can also do those on your side, same thing. And it's that same technique, breathing in as much as you can and breathing out as much as you can. Okay, now I'm gonna show you the basic, and this is a very beginner move, and I would definitely start with this if you are just starting to deal with this. I'm gonna put myself on the diagonal. So you can do it with socks, washcloths, paper towels if you have carpet. Not paper towels, paper plates if you have carpet. So you're gonna maintain kind of a tuck, and you could do the vacuum before you start this, and then you're just gonna slide one leg out, and you're gonna drag it back in. So I'm dragging it from here. I'm not dragging it from back here. And you can do, like, do 4 on each leg, and drag it, scoop, and keep maintaining that closure. We always say, like an upright road, zip up. Maintain the closure of that midline. And again, those of you who know Pilates, this is the fundamental basis of Pilates, is hugging the midline, right? And then switch. I'm sure there's some Pilates studio next to you called Hug the Midline somewhere. That's a big, foundation of Pilates, which is why my clients who've done Pilates before they get pregnant don't usually have that big a problem. It's the ones who didn't do it before. So if you're thinking about getting pregnant, if you know anyone who is, I guess you've already been pregnant if you're watching this video, or if you know anyone who's thinking about it, tell them to get into Pilates right now. Good, and then come all the way. So you'll start to feel that. It's nice. I can feel it, and I work my abs a lot, and I don't have diastasis. Okay, so we did the pelvic tucks, and that's, you can again vacuum and then tuck. And then glute bridges. Now, for people who have the band, like the Versaloop, which I love, then there's a video somewhere down the line of my feed that has that. I like to put the Versaloop around people's legs, but if you don't have it, it's not useless, right? So you just lower and lift. And this doesn't seem like it would help, but it really does, because a big part of the diastasis is that we're interiorly tilted, and this helps kind of lengthen out those hip flexors, which just gives us a tiny little back bend without going into a back bend, but it's a back bend for your pelvis, which is really good. Okay, and then we're going to hold it up here, and we're just going to pulse the knees out. And again, I want you to imagine, it's not like you can go like this, right? You don't have all the range of motion. I want you to keep your feet on the floor and open, and pull the stomach in, and just keep your neck long. Do not look at me like I'm looking at you. Keep your neck long on your spine. Good. And then just squeeze your glutes. 4, 3, 2, and 1, and then come all the way down. And honestly, that feels really good. And then from here, I like to do the tucks with people right after we do that, to kind of release your lower back if they got a little sore, right? And just, again, feel that suction and that hug the midline. Good. And again, I always say, like, 10 to 20, depending on your level, and you always want to work up to more. And then side planks can be really great. And again, beginner is on your knees, and you're just gonna keep your knees in line with your hips, and you're just gonna lift and hold, okay? And that feeling of that, that's why I like to start with the vacuum, because then you kind of know what you're going for throughout these moves. And you just hold, 10 seconds and then come down. You're not gonna do any pulsing in this phase 1 of this. You're just gonna lift, because that should be a lot. It should be a lot to hold yourself in. Right? And keep pushing your hips forward. And I like to do this one after the bridge, because then we have a little bit more flexibility in our hip flexors, right? And then come down. And of course you do both sides. And then the intermediate advanced version is to come into your feet and lift up. And at first you're just gonna lift and lower, okay? That's gonna be enough. It's hard for me. And again, I didn't just have a baby. So, but the advanced stage of this is pulsing up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then come down. Right, great, and then we do both sides. Let's just do both sides so we're all even. So on the knees, plug into your back. And one thing I always say to people, because everybody tends to be in their front body, think of your back body sliding up against the wall. From your tailbone to your upper back, you're gonna lift. Good, and just hold this, hold this, hold this. Again, like 10 seconds, and come down. And then lift and hold. Good. And again, try not to let your head fall. If you can let it fall, have it be on your spine. Think of your back body. And then down. And again, the second step of this is to straighten your legs and stack your feet and lift and lower. So first it'll just be lift and lower. And then it will be pulses up. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and come all the way down. Okay, now one that seems kind of easy, but believe me, it's not, and we add kind of all kinds of variations to this in the fitness world, is the bird dog. So you want to make sure your knees are underneath your hips, your hands are underneath your shoulders, and you're just going to reach and bring it down. And alternating is really challenging not to shift too far. Again, now you can't just think of arms and legs. That's not what we're trying to go for. We're trying to pull our core in. So the more you can vacuum, to use that term loosely, vacuum your abs as you reach. Again, it just starts to get you to think when you reach away, it makes your abs automatically pull back. And that's what we want for everybody, because that's what keeps you safe. That's what keeps you grounded and centered. And then switch and switch. Good. Great. Okay, great. All right, so now we'll do one standing thing. You can also do it on your knees with weights. So we would do this standing. Tilt you up. But you can also do it on your knees for sure, if you'd rather. So take your feet about a little bit wider than your hips, and you just side bend and bring it up. But again, I'm going to think about zipping up my midline. And it feels so good to me. I love this one. And I also do this, again, it'd be a more advanced version, but I do it with a band. You get either in a doorway or against the wall, where you actually press one handle down, or two handles in one hand. So say I would have the band on the door, I would press both handles down and reach up. And again, it's more advanced, but it gives you something to push down and then lift up with, right? But for the weights, I would just keep the weights down. And you could do side to side, but I'd say you get more out of just staying on one side. You know, do 10 to 15, 3 reps. You know, you want to do it so you feel it. That's the key. And again, it's just practice. You just got to keep practicing that. Right? So again, like I said, in the pool, I will, when I bring my knees up or I'm like just like waiting, I just kind of try to find that. Again, it's a mini vacuum. It's not that major breath one. But pick a place where you do it. Doing your makeup, in the shower, cooking lunch, making breakfast, whatever, and just do it while you're doing something else. You can do it. You can lean over the kitchen counter. That sometimes is the easier way to start than straight up. I hope that helps. I also am going to post something that a doctor texted me about this situation, and there's definitely PTs that specialize in this once COVID is all over and you can actually go back to the doctor. But take it serious. It's really something you can fix. Don't just let it go and be miserable, because as you get older, it's going to make your back, it's going to just make it harder. So take 3 of these exercises and do them one day. Take 3 the other day, but do the vacuum. Try to do the vacuum every day. You know, I'd say obviously 3 to 5 is going to be better, but if you get 1 to 2 sets in, it's better than nothing, right? So DM me with any questions. I'm here for you. I want to help in any way I can, and I've definitely closed a lot of these diastasis, recti. It can be done. I've seen it done. So thanks for watching. See you.